Right, this video is called The Statement. See, I'm the type of person, I'm a straight talker, I don't give a fuck. I put people into place. I'm not trying to win friends, I'm not trying to gain advantage, I don't care about being second best. In fact, I just tell people the truth and deal with it. I don't trim things up, I don't make anything prettier or anything unless it's art. But as for speaking the truth, I just say it how it is. I'm sincere, I'm authentic, and I don't give a fuck. Deal with it. My statement was entirely correct. I wasn't on drugs during that time at all. I'd not been on drugs for years. And so, this guy that moved in, sent by Keir Starmer, was sent to interrupt my life. It was essentially a hitman to stop me posting. And that whole 6 months was called The Statement by the police. It was a diary, a personal diary of what went on. And it was a fucking nightmare. I mean, yeah, the statement went on over about 2 or 3 years. It covered my partner's death in this. I mean, it started with Steve moving in. There's a plane. And at first he was just keeping me awake. He was motor mouthing through the night. And he was on something. Him and his girlfriend just talked all the time, and he had a super deep voice. And I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks, so I banged the ceiling. And next thing, he started getting really violent, really aggressive. I think he was afternoon drinking, because it started about 4, and the insults would go for 8 hours a day, every day it was a good few months that happened. It happened for a long time. He used to go into absolute rages, but I started to try and record it. But he saw the light on my recorder, the red light. I thought, how the fuck did he see the red light in my room? Now the thing is, I've got like holes in my ceiling. He'd been looking through the holes into my flat. So he was going off his head upstairs about the red light, and he's got a hell of a rage. And he's a dangerous guy, you could tell, unhinged. And that was because he was on something as well, and I soon got to know the dynamics of his habits, as it were. He cut at losing control and took as much coke as he did. I learnt later that he'd been given 6 ounces of coke by Starmer in order to fuel the interruption. And Steve vowed many times not to let me sleep. That was his mission, not to let me sleep, and he didn't. And although I had a camper van and went out in it, he'd hunt me down. I didn't realise at the time Steve was an operative. He had the equipment, and he knew how to track my phone down. I didn't know at the time. I mean, I should have realised a bit sooner. But yeah, through that 6 months, he was tapping into my network. I went through 3 routers that he locked me out of. I could hear him upstairs scrambling around as I was resetting the router and trying to get into the password, but I couldn't outwit him, and eventually the router would be ruined and I'd be locked out. I mean, it went on. There were so many chapters in that statement. I never go back to it because it's too triggering. It's a really heavy time for me. It was so fucking twisted. And yet when people read it, they think that I was the one on drugs because it's so fucking weird. Yeah, it's not fucking normal. Steve wasn't fucking normal. That's what the problem was. He was powered by drugs, on LSD, on cocaine, drinking, smoking, the whole lot. I couldn't afford to be uncentered. I mean, I came back stoned and it was absolutely panic attack area. I mean, Jesus Christ. I couldn't be in that flat generally most of the time. As soon as I come near the door, I'd have a massive panic attack regardless. It got that bad. You could cut it with a knife. And so it was Steve and Steve, his girlfriend, and another family that they were living with, and a kid. And then one night they were all on ketamine, all 4 of them were on ketamine. I was disgusted because not when there's a kid there. But that's another thing. But then Steve brought his mate who he'd been dealing ketamine with, who made guns, who lived below my mate's house, my mate's flat. He made homemade guns. And apparently he was a customer of Steve upstairs, and he was a ketamine user. And he arrived at the top, because what happened, a bag of ketamine had busted right above my bed, because they were lifting floorboards and hiding things, and he kept the cocaine in the cooker. You could hear the cooker being dragged out, the chopping noises on the side again. Fucking, it was all the time, any time of the night. Then, you know, then back in with the cooker again, drag the cooker back. So it was a really fucking heavy time. The floorboards were coming up all the time. They had 6 areas around the flat where the floorboards had come up. A couple of them in the bedroom. There was power tools before they started doing that. They seemed to know what he was doing. And then when the kid came in at 7:30 in the morning before school, they'd relay the floorboards. And the kid can run around then, and then they'd soon come up after the kid went to school. It was absolutely awful. And you could hear them being wedged open. You could feel the draft of wind. You could hear them completely into their flat. The sound difference was, I mean, there was no insulation anyway, but when there's no floorboard there, you could hear right into their flat, because there was only my ceiling skim surface, which had lots of peppered holes in, which is how we could get a camera down to it for the, you know, it was, all you need is any camera down to any hole and you can see through it. So yeah, I remember him talking about filming me while I was asleep, photographing me. It was an absolute nightmare. As I say, his friend came in on ketamine, disgusted that because they'd popped the bag of ketamine, and I knew there was proof up there of what they were doing. So when the police were there, I told them about the ketamine, because I wanted them out of there because of how they'd been treating me. It was an absolute nightmare. The police only saw the front room. They wouldn't search the rest of the flat like I asked them. They wouldn't look under any floorboards, even though I told them about the ketamine. I didn't realise that they were in with the police. They were in the back room. The police never searched it. They just saw the mother and child and just ushered us out, even though there'd been a lot of shit going on. I don't know if that was the time there was a brutal rape. I think it was, actually. Yeah, it's a disturbing time to even talk about. But it's all documented. You can go and read it. It's too disturbing for me. The statement. It's the interesting, well, it's the introduction to the 5-year-long torture, surveillance torture that I've been going through. In the statement, it covers my partner's death. It covers a lot of heavy things. The two best mates that died, the other mate that died. There's been a lot going on. But yeah, the pressure that this has been putting on me, my friends and my family, and the suffering that we have, especially my parents and I have gone through, and Trudy. She went through hell because of this, and it really messed with our relationship big time. She'd had enough of it, of what was going on. She was frustrated with the level of surveillance and the impact it was having on our relationship. That contributed to her death, that conversation, the argument. She was screaming in my arms. To have someone do that is beyond. So yeah, I can't believe that this has carried on, and I've received very little support after that. But as I say, the statement was an account of an operation, the start of an operation, where I had a target put on me by the police for posting about COVID, and that's been going on, and now they're encompassing all my old friends, Psytrance friends, who have lost touch with because I've not been on the scene. And they've gaslighted all those people that I've set them up, and that I'm evil, and that my statement wasn't true, and all the claims were there just to ruin the scene, and that was a lie. And all my friends are now, and they've controlled certain people in the scene to mess the others up. in the way that they're thinking about me. So they'll set me up and put lies about me, and they've set everybody up on the scene to set me up. And I think the aim is to have me done for was it dangerous drugs or whatever. I'm not even doing drugs. I was running an eBay business. I've not been doing drugs in my 50s. And so, and if there was, then they would have the right to take me out of here, put me straight into a hospital, and basically give me a lobotomy. That's why they want me to do drugs, because there's a target on me. That would give them license to do that. So that would be the end, because I've been in a mental hospital for the rest of my life. If people go around saying that I've been taking drugs, that's my situation. So I'm getting very little support. My family's under a lot of pressure, my friends, and as I say, there's a whole load of people that don't realise that the phones have been listened to, on or off. The whole scene it's been so surveilled for years, and that's what I told them about. But they're blaming me, thinking I'm evil. They're ignoring my 5-year thing, thinking that I've done it to myself because they've been misinformed. They've been told that I'd fucked myself up and fucked my chances up. No, I didn't do that at all. I've not fucked my chances up one little bit. I've done remarkably well, even despite of this. So yeah, there's a lot of misinformation going around, and they've weaponised all my old friends against me, and they won't even answer the phone. That's the situation I know about, because I'm overhearing, I'm picking up my surveillance all the time. And I put that down in a conversation group called The Conversations on Facebook, and that will draw out the whole arena of the situation that I'm involved in. And it's not just me, it's my whole side tribe, and it's also the whole UK drug culture and the festivals. We're all in a hell of a situation. The Conversations on Facebook. As I say, I don't bullshit. And there's nothing wrong with me, I'm certainly not mental.